Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elias here with Weekly Wrestling Heat. We're back for another episode.
Dude, if you guys could only hear the talks me and Elias have before we go live. Let's dive right into it.
I don't think they want to hear the talks that we have.
I think what we're going to do today is we're going to do more in-depth on the new NXT relaunch that happened yesterday. And then next week we'll get back to our regular segment because we're a day behind. There's a hurricane going on. So this week we'll just deep dive more into what we saw on NXT yesterday. And we'll talk a little bit of Raw. Big E teased the cast in, and he did it. And the internet exploded.
Yeah, so throughout the day that day, it was interesting because of the fact that he bluntly just said, hey, I just want to let y'all know I'm going to cash in and win.
He said it on SmackDown too, remember?
Yeah, he said it on SmackDown, and he said it. Wait, did he say it on SmackDown?
He came out into he came out or he met Paul backstage and said, I'm gonna cash in on after the Finn Balor match.
But he didn't. But he teased it for SmackDown. He didn't tease it for Raw.
Yeah. He teased that he was gonna do it on SmackDown, but then the Finn Balor match never happened.
Yeah. Wait, it did.
No, remember Finn came out as a demon and it just ended.
Oh, yeah, because they did. It was the actual tag team match between the Usos and Street Profits, and that's Sorry, my mind is a little gone today. I'm tired. I've run out of 4 hours of sleep. So, anyways, right. Yeah. So he teased it all day, and then come Raw, they basically were making a big deal out of the whole thing. So it looks like I gotta admit it. I kind of like the fact that they teased it like that. It's something new.
I like that they teased it as well because everyone need a rating. We're gonna go down from last week because it was the first Monday night game, and
also because of the fact that the game was smacking. Like I was actually watching the game and watching Raw at the same time.
Yeah, and even though Raw's ratings did go down, it went up hourly, which never happens. Especially during Monday Night Football, it barely happens.
Well, the trend of when the main event was one of the most watched main events in a minute. I'm not gonna lie, Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley killed it. I thought that the beginning and the end were perfect for Raw. They flowed. The beginning flowed. The shots that they threw at Big E, basically kind of referencing towards why didn't you cash in on Roman Reigns? Like, are you scared of Roman Reigns? Kind of like that was a little nice shot to do, and I think it was pretty well done.
I like how Bobby or they were like, or are you scared of Brock Lesnar? And Bobby's like, I'm not. He like quickly threw it in there, because he knows that's the match everyone wants to see.
Yeah, so with they announced the draft, the brand draft. So this brings a lot of possibilities. So in 2 weeks, we'll probably see Bobby Lashley head to SmackDown. It's a possibility. Yeah, there's a possibility of anything happening.
Yeah, dude. So I think Drew needs to go to SmackDown. But if you send Drew and Bobby to SmackDown, you probably got to send Seth Rollins at least back, right?
Yeah, you gotta do Seth Rollins or trade it off with Finn Balor.
Well, they said Edge is going to be appearing on Raw too. Is the rumors? So maybe they send Edge and Seth Rollins, and that's where they finish the feud off on Raw.
I could see that happening. So here's one thing that I want to say about this. I shared a clip on our chat this afternoon about Busted Open, basically what they said. When WWE gets it right, they get it right. Like the whole Raw, the intro and the end shows that they know what they're doing, and that's what it builds a frustration with us fans because we know that they can pop off. We know that they can do what they got to do to make to bring in the crowd. But so many fans are kind of jaded or kind of like
gave up
on it because of the fact that they do it one week and they don't stay consistent with it.
Well, and it's more irritating when you had one of the best SmackDowns ever on Friday, and Raw was really good. Don't get me wrong, the beginning and the end was great, but then you have that big ass clusterfuck in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's really irritating when 2 hours of SmackDown's great, but only an hour of Raw turned out to be good.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I enjoyed the segment, but for some reason, I rarely enjoy the segments with the 24/7 title. Even that was decent. Like it wasn't that the show was bad. It's just that it still has some of the same old things that brings you back to like, oh man, they started off good, but now they're back to this bullshit.
Like why is Nia and Shayna not on the Extreme Rules card? That should totally be on the Extreme Rules card. You open with Nia and Shayna, you will get people talking about your women's division on Raw again. If you let them just go out there, give them, you don't even have to give them a big match. Give them 8 to 10 minutes hard hitting. Put some stipulation in it because it's Extreme Rules and no match has a stipulation yet.
So here's the interesting part about it, and this is something that was also talked about. Raw had 4 women's matches on the card.
Yeah, and someone thinks that we're not going to name names, thinks that AEW's women's roster is catching up in our group chat, and NXT had 3 women's matches, but they showcased 6, 7, 8. They showcased 9 women.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting to. That's where I'm starting to. Basically start to be like, all right, they're getting some stuff right. I guess they're trying to make up for Friday, where they only had 1 women's segment and they cut off the important segment that people were complaining about, which was Selena Vega's match because it was her homecoming, and also dealing with the whole September 11th that her dad, blah blah blah.
But in a way, at least you didn't have to lose, right?
Yeah.
So there's that too.
I mean, I'm still upset. I'm still upset about it because of the fact that they could have done something. Doesn't necessarily mean they had to do a match. They could have showcased her. They could have done something to to please that crowd, because that kind of was a big thing that it went back. People started talking about, well, women are not getting a chance on it, and then they flipped the script on Raw, and you get 4 women's matches, 3 women's matches on NXT. So I'm interested to see that SmackDown is doing good on certain things, but they still lack that showcasing their women, and I think they need to do better on that.
Definitely. And then just to throw like a fresh coat of paint on Raw, I was very interested that on NXT they showed Kushida coming out and challenging Roderick Strong, and they're building to that match next week. Kushida just coming back from COVID with what he tweeted. He had a bad reaction to COVID. So I'm wondering if Roddy and Kushida put on like a solid match. I'm wondering if maybe Vince is like, maybe I can get away with having a cruiserweight match every week on Raw that takes up 2 segments,
See, I will say this, and we'll transition to NXT from here, because I think that's pretty much, we want to talk about Raw. The Big E winning the championship. Congrats to Big E. One thing that I can appreciate is that the wrestling community outside, as far as the wrestlers, they show a lot of love to each other. Monday was a big sign on how big Big E is, how great of a person he is.
Yeah, you had people that never even worked at WWE, like Jade Cargill tweeted about it. People who left on a bad note, Dash and Dawson were very excited about it. People who haven't been around, like Andrade, Bailey got hurt. Bailey tweeted about it. AJ Lee, like there's a lot of people that tweet about it.
But this is the great opportunity. They just need to keep up with it. They just need to continue with the momentum, and I think little by little, Raw will go back to that exciting. Even though it's 3 hours, if they continue with if they put everything behind Big E and they start to build around him, I really think that Raw can become back to what it was. They just need to have the confidence and actually do it. And going into NXT, I thought that the new revamp of NXT, the new 2.0 stadium that they have, looks really great. I really liked Imperium's entrance with that new Titatron.
Yeah, it looked really good because there's so much more space now.
Yeah,
Not
but
only,
also the way
yeah.
that the lights dimmed out and it showed them with just that bright light, that was perfect for their
and
type of
both of the guys
style
are
of
and
entrance.
both of the guys are ripped. And Fabian Eichner's not exactly the Vince McMahon look, but he looked shredded. Reminds me of Neville's run during the Cruiserweight title when Neville was shredded. So he looked really good. We'll talk more about how these stars look because they threw a lot of new names out there. It was like every segment you got someone new. You had a vignette for Tony D'Angelo, which apparently set the internet on fire.
It was a good and bad thing because
Oh
of his
yeah,
gimmick.
it's like Sheamus meets Enzo Amore.
Yeah, basically, like they literally this whole Chicago mobsters type of thing was pretty interesting. I don't know whether it's good or bad. In my opinion, I think it's one of those things that you just have to wait and see how it works out.
Did you
I
listen to the
will.
Wrestling Inc. podcast after?
I
Where
was
Glenn
watching
was
that one.
where Glenn
Go ahead.
said
Go ahead.
that. So Glenn Rubenstein had this hilarious thing. He's like, put him with Carmella, have Gable come in, recruit both of them. You find out Gable's working with the FBI, and you find out that this guy has no ties. And then I just thought it was hilarious. Like WWE would never do something like that because you literally would crap on 3 stars at once. But
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, shout out to them.
So here's the interesting thing about NXT that I liked, and I think even Wrestling Inc., Fightful, and because I watched all those two, and I think somebody else, I think Busted Open kind of said it in a sense, and the whole NXT on Tuesday yesterday was fast flowing, and they were focused more on the wrestling, and it was good. I think if they apply that same concept to Raw, it gives them a chance to showcase everybody on the roster within those 3 hours. You give 3 hours, you do the same thing with the intro. You cut down the intro a little bit. You do the same fast-paced matches that you do, and then you go from there. I think that could possibly be a formula that could help make Raw better.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But yeah, let's dive right into it. So you started with Braun Breaker, which a lot of people hated that name, which Rex Steiner was the other name they had on the table. I don't know why they didn't go with that. But yeah, Braun Breaker and LA Knight are backstage. LA Knight's like, oh, I'll give you a quick warm-up match before I win the title. And they go out there, and Braun beats him in 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, it was like a quick 6-10 minute match with intro included. I kind of can get behind these new stars, like them doing that. What they're doing, introducing, has it developed? If they're going back, because I think they even broke it down on Wrestling Inc. that this had vibes to the old NXT, the original NXT, not the show, but the original inception of NXT, where you had all these developmental talents, like when Roman, when Seth, when Big E were all in it, that started building, and that made NXT what it was. And I can get behind that. You still see good. You didn't see a bad match when Mandy Rose had a pretty solid match, and people were were pretty much saying this is awesome. Like, that tells you that their focus on it is more on the wrestling now than the entertainment part of it, at least with NXT.
And let's dive right into the women. We'll go a little flippy floppy on this. So we had Casey and Kaden take on Gigi and Jocelyn, and then Mandy comes in, debuts her brown hair. Sheree comes out. They go into a 6-man match that got a "This is awesome" chant, which is freaking crazy because I don't remember the last time I heard that in a Mandy match. But this goes back to the point of when people in our group are saying, oh, AEW's women's division is catching up. No, they're not, because Impact, NWA, and WWE, they're getting "This is awesome" chance on like a bathroom break segment, is what a lot of people call it sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with, because I think all these women can go. So they're getting "This is awesome" chance on their secondary women matches, on their low card women matches. And you're not getting that on AEW only because there's only one women's match and they try to wrap it up as quick as they can.
See, and here's the thing about that. I think that AEW has the women's division, like the names in it: Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, freaking Ty Conti, Anna Jay,
Nyla,
Sheeta, Nyla, Rio. They have the women's division. It's just that they need to focus more on them and making it better. It feels like they're trying by adding them to Dark, adding them to Elevation, adding them to Rampage, but the main show doesn't have a presence of women like it needs to. It's the same problem with SmackDown right now. SmackDown is the A show, but it still lacks the show of women. They're just showcasing Becky and Bianca.
But I will disagree, because Naomi still has a storyline going on. There's still a storyline going on with Naomi, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's being overlooked. She's trying to get which is
well, I think it's more
on the bloodline. But
I think
that
it's
alone
more
is more than you're doing for any of the women. Like, okay, Naomi joining the bloodline, which we know that's how it's going to end, it's doing more than AEW did for any of their secondary women. Ivy Nile looked like a freaking star yesterday. And she didn't have a match.
Will agree. She was just standing there, and the way that she looked, like, for a second, I thought that she kind of reminded me of Scarlett. Like, I thought Scarlett got buff and just, like, went there. But then I was like, wait, that's not her. But I mean, she has the look. I'm excited to see her in a match now. Like, I think the Diamond Mine is one of those low key factions that's gonna be making some noise, even if they all get moved to the main roster. I think that with the Reed brothers and Malcolm Bivens as the mouthpiece, good lord, you can see plenty of good matches there.
And not only that, like, now that Vince has more of a hand in NXT, let's say he just thinks the TN Saw gimmick is dumb. He can repackage Karen Q and easily put her in as a student of the Diamond Mine as well. There you got a tag team right now. You just made another tag team. And I think that's what's going to happen, because I feel like the TN Saw gimmick is going to go way over Vince's head.
Well, they already took Xia Li away from them, and they put her on the main roster. So that's yet to be seen. I mean, she didn't look bad in her match. They made her dominate, which is, to be seen. We'll see what happens with that. I will say one of my favorites. I will say that my favorite segment was not favorite segment, but the one thing that they're doing that kind of caught my eye and was kind of interesting was that quick picture-in-picture that they did to the backstage area. Like, you didn't notice it as much, but you still got to see, oh, wait, they're jumping Kyle O'Reilly in the bag, but you're still focused on the women's match. And that's one thing that made me be like, yeah, the women were killing it, because of the fact that, yes, I saw Kyle O'Reilly get beat up, but I still kept my attention on the women's match because the action was just so it was good. Like,
and not only that, you're throwing all these new names at us, so we're hopping on Twitter, we're hopping on Google trying to figure out who these guys are. before their match gets underway. You know, like while their entrance is going on, we're hopping on Google trying to figure out who this is. Has he worked the Indies? Is he exclusively WWE? Is he a football player? What's going on? You know, and the announcers, like, they did it with some talent. They did it with the Diamond Mine brothers, but they didn't do it with Trick Williams, who I saw Trick Williams and immediately I was like, this guy's a freaking star. I'm very, very, very upset how they ended that Duke Hudson segment, because Duke Hudson's one of the names that I think can definitely be a big player, has those Wade Barrett vibes. Maybe you can have Barrett manage for him down the line if Barrett's into that. But it seems like Wade Barrett's really into that character. I think Duke Hudson's a star. If I'm really hoping this doesn't go into a feud where Carmelo and Trick Williams both just keep beating Duke Hudson.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's that one was kind of a letdown because it kind of let a lot of questions unanswered on what Carmelo Hayes was going to do as well. I enjoyed the fact that Trick Williams was with him. I think they're gonna make a great pairing and a good tag team if they decide to stick them together. I will say this: Legado and
Hit
I
Row.
keep forgetting their name. Hit Row is money. Both factions are just like adding Elektra has that women member of Legado was a perfect addition to them. She has a look. She has a little work to do on the mic, but overall, I'm excited to see what she's gonna do in the ring, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next War Games match we get is that intergender between Legado and Hit Row.
That would be very exciting. And then not only another thing I like about these women getting involved in these factions, they're not the typical eye candy that's just going to manage the men. They get down and dirty. We saw that with in the Carmelo match last week. Elektra did the scoop slam on him outside. Brianna Brandy's like, I'm not here to look pretty. I can go in the ring. Ivy Nile, same thing. Malcolm Bivens like flex for them, you know? Like, all these women, like, they're not going the eye candy route anymore. They're going we have badass women that can actually go if they need to go.
Yeah, and I think that's the route they're also taking. Speaking on it, I think that's the route they're taking with the Bloodline too. I think that they're gonna turn. I think that they're gonna turn, and they're gonna once they add Naomi to the mix. I think they're gonna let her loose as well on that heel. I liked her when she was with Sasha Banks. When they were Sasha Banks and Tamina. Team Bad. I like the little heel version that Naomi was portraying. So I think adding her to the Bloodline and just like I think this is the one where Sonya goes back active on the roster.
But then you got heel versus heel.
Well, then I think it kind of turns Sonya face in a little sense.
Yeah, I would have to see
because she's a tweener, so she's a tweener right now. There's no she's in between because she's management. So being that she's management, they could either take the babyface route or heel versus heel. But one thing that they've been doing really good lately is booking these heel versus heel or face versus face matches. So like when you look at it, Hit Row is a heel faction. Legado is a heel faction, and the electricity, the feeling, the chemistry between both of these groups is pretty badass, in my opinion.
No, definitely.
So it's
I agree. What else? What else on NXT caught your eye?
The Von Wagner. Is it that his name?
Von Wagner? Yeah, I think that's his name.
I was kind of upset that they replaced Kyle O'Reilly in the 4-way match. But I'm not going to lie. Von Wagner looked really good. That I thought that I thought that for him being his first time in on TV and people don't know who he is, I think he made a pretty solid statement. He kept up with the bets, and even though there were some points where you could tell that his inexperience was kind of like there, but he still showed a solid showing for what it was. So,
And I will say a lot of people are like, oh, LA Knight got buried. He's the one that got pinned in both matches. I think when Vince and Bruce and Kevin Dunn see LA Knight get busted open yet still go in that match like he went, I think LA Knight was the star of the match. Don't get me wrong. So I think I could easily see them being like, all right, this draft, we're going to call him up, you know?
well, they were still high on him because a lot of the match he had a lot of the offense. He had a lot. He was featured a lot. With him doing his finisher on mostly all the competitors, and then coming back and doing the suplex from the top, like that was that was him busted open. He still went and still was showed that he was good. I haven't seen. I really, in reality, I haven't seen LA Knight be this active in a while. Like even when he was in TNA, he was still like Impact. I mean, he was still like kind of like on that backstage. He was kind of taking it easy. Here, he's showing how good he is on the mic. He's showing how good he is in the ring. Even with Braun Breaker, like he showed that he could put the guy over. He put the new guy over. Like that's like I think that's what their focus is on it. Their focus of actually developing new people but still making the veterans look good. Like I thought that he looked really good. I thought that the Imperium tag team match, I thought that was good. The tag team that they faced was I didn't know who they were, but they impressed me.
Josh Briggs was in the breakout tournament. I don't know who the other guy was. Yeah. But yeah, that, and then it all led to the wedding segment. So you ended on a comedy segment, but nothing went wrong. Everything flowed. The crowd was into it. You got people chanting for Odyssey Jones. You got people chanting for Indy, Johnny, Austin. Like the crowd was super into it.
But I think this it goes back to what I was telling Angel because he kind of was like, why did they put the main event, the title match before this? This was a storyline that was built from the ground up. People were invested in this, so the fact that this wedding went off without a hitch, no issues, the fact that you had that right amount of comedy with Gargano, Austin Theory, with Dexter showing the knife when
Andre Chase getting up when he's like,
Andre
"Oh, did
Chase.
someone say my name?" So I'm gonna say this. I think Andre Chase, I think they need to move him into a manager role because he gave me a lot of the Damien Sandow vibes when he got up. Like when he's like, "Let me tell you a story," and they're like, "Nope, sit down." Like I could easily see him being like just in the Damien Sandow / Aiden English type role when Aiden was with Rusev or when Sandow was with Miz. I could easily see Andre Chase doing something like that and getting over because his comic timing seemed like it was on point.
Yeah, I agree. I think the wedding itself, even with like them showing the expression, I think the expressions were the thing that sold it the most. Like with when they asked, like, is there anybody here that Jackson? Everybody started raising their hands slowly, and then when they started asking William, when Dexter took out the priest, the axe, and then when he took out the priest, and then everybody started calling William Regal to come up, and William Regal's facial expressions were funny. I was dying laughing with his expressions and the way he was responding. And then Beth Phoenix just coming up, well, I thought this was gonna happen, so I got ordained last night. So,
And then right before he says I do, Loomis puts his hand on the mic. I'm like, oh crap, is Loomis about to just like destroy everyone? And then I had a feeling nothing crazy was going to happen because Candice is pregnant and she was in the ring. So I had a feeling nothing like that was going to pop off. But when he put his hand on the mic, I was like, oh, dude, does he just go for Gargano right now? And so he didn't. And yeah, everything went off without a hitch. It was a great main event segment because it wrapped up the storyline that people were invested in.
And speak of the devil, he shall appear.
Angel, who obviously wasn't invested in it because he didn't watch NXT, was like, "Oh, why is this the main event?"
Why is that the main event?
Because the crowd reaction alone, the crowd reaction alone sealed it.
Fair enough, but you have a championship match on the show.
Angel, I do want to get your thoughts on one. I want to get your thoughts on one thing. Actually, two things. Trick Williams looks like a way better Mark Queen. Does he not?
Wait, what?
Trick
Mark
Williams,
Quinn.
the guy that came out with Carmelo Hayes. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't get a chance to watch. The only thing I watched was Ciampa winning because I tuned in. I tuned in thinking that was the main event. That's all I cared about, and I tuned in right when Ciampa. I guess I don't know what his move is, but he won with it.
Willow Spell.
Yeah,
the DDT. Yeah,
he won with that thing, and then I was like, "Oh, we still have 20 minutes or whatever. What the hell's next?" And then it was the wedding,
and you got to see a great wedding. Weren't you excited?
It was decent, very comical, very very comical. Which was,
and I think that's the point. I think that was the point of that one because of the fact, because of the point that everything has been building has a comedy segment with them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it had the right amount of comedy at that. I thought that it flowed pretty well. I think my hat's off to Gargano because Gargano was like can show that he is versatile. He could be a comedian, he could be serious, and he could be a top face of the company.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, not knowing anything about it, it was interesting. I popped when Loomis actually said some words. Apparently that's a big deal, I guess. I could tell from the way everyone reacted, so I thought that was really cool. When he said "I do," I was like, "Oh, okay." And then everyone popped.
He speaks.
So I was like, "I guess he doesn't talk."
So this is a completely
part of what.
Go ahead.
I was just say part of what I think excited me about that was I had just seen an ad also for Dexter.
The reboot, yeah.
That's what this. Yeah. That's what his character is based off of, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe not that specifically, but something similar to that. So.
It's supposed to be a mix of Dexter and Freddie Voorhees when he was bullied as a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I thought I was thinking of that when I was watching it.
It's a complete 360 of the Dexter Loomis that was an Impact though. So kind of because he still has that creepy thing to it. But he actually doesn't talk here with the exception of those two words.
I'm still watching AEW right now.
So don't tell me what happens. I'm going to watch that right when I get off of here. But how do you, we'll dive into some AEW because we basically covered all of NXT. How do you feel about the Brian Pillman MJF thing? You think that...
You haven't seen this week's episode, have you?
No, not this week's episode yet.
Okay, just wait. It gets better.
Okay, so last week's promo, a lot of people crapped on last week's promo, and I loved it. They're like, oh, he's doing the generic heel thing. I'm like, he's the generic heel. That's what he's supposed to do.
That's the point. That's why it works so well.
Yeah, that's like...
It's simple. It's basic.
But at the same time, it's
so good.
It hits that line where it's kind of like offensive, but it's good offensive. Like, it's like, yeah, you kind of dissed everybody, and they kind of build the storyline off of it about Pillman's sister going into labor after the shit that MJF said. So I'm like, this is perfect.
What was funny about that was I watched Dark yesterday, and she was still in the crowd on Dark. I was like, wait, didn't she have her baby? I was like, oh, duh. They recorded this so before that happened. It was weird, but yeah.
And do you think Wardlow's going to turn at the match in New York, or do you think they're going to build it up a little more?
I think there's going to be something about like hey, my contract is coming up soon or something. Like they're gonna have to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Surely. Like, hey, yeah, I signed, to protect you for 2 years, 3 years. I don't think I'm gonna let you get my services again. Something's gonna happen like that.
I want to see I want to see the payout on that, because I think that Wardlow can be a big face as well.
But how often can we keep having him or MJF lose? MJF, I think, is clearly winning the Pillman thing, but I don't know. It just depends.
I think you could get MJF one more loss where Wardlow's trying to help and MJF loses, and that's what sets it off. But the thing with Wardlow is,
like once it happens, yeah, I don't want Wardlow to lose, right? That the whole story is based on him winning, but MJF hasn't won a major feud in a long time. Like won a major feud.
Yeah, no, you're right, because even with the Inner Circle, they lost the major match, which was not the Blood and Guts, but the Stadium Stampede.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost the Jericho match.
He beat him 3 times, so I think he wins that feud. Plus, he has the out of, hey, I actually won that match. So, but like
Aubrey screwed me, yeah. But I think Wardlow is one of those guys that he would be great for outside of wrestling too. Like you could get him on the cover of GQ or Muscle and Fitness, and because he's got that look, he looks like a freaking movie star. So,
yeah, I think he's.
So one thing I want to ask you, Angel, really quick. Did you see any of the comments that we weren't going to say names, that someone said about how AEW's women's division is catching up to WWE's? And I know you didn't watch all of NXT. NXT showcased 8 women. And when I'm saying showcase, like either in a debut, either in a match, or either in a promo that put them over like Rover.
What's a debut? What's considered a debut for that?
Brianna Brandy had her first match, BFAB, the girl with
Did she win?
Hit Row. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Electra that match?
It was just her against a jobber, but then Electra Lopez came out with Legado. They had a solid 5-minute interaction, like where both women looked really good on the mic. And then you had a tag team match turn into a 6-woman match that got a "This is awesome" stamp and it was the first Mandy Rose match I remember getting that. I don't remember a Mandy Rose match ever getting a "This is awesome" stamp. And then you had the debut of Ivy Nile. Have you seen this girl, Ivy Nile? Let's say Layla Hirsch, but with like triple the muscle on her.
Did you see the new girl that debuted with Janela?
No. Is she on TV today?
No, she's on Dark.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
See, but so I don't. That's why I disagree. Because I watch all this stuff. So the women's matches on Dark, you can tell why they're not on TV. Number one, but they are good. They're getting better, and the women, they're building storylines on there.
Except for when they're missing standing moonsaults,
Yeah, but you turn that into she screwed up. Look, I'm gonna win now. That's why I win, because she's not good. She's not ready. She's not good enough yet.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think Chris Statlander was being built really well before they're like, okay, we're gonna go with Ruby. So I think they could always go back to that. Yeah. I think she's over with the crowd. You have the best friends connection, and she's someone you could easily make a heel down the line.
I haven't finished this episode right now that's happening, because I think there's a match with Layla Hirsch and Jade. But like the promo package last week was there's 4 feuds now going on in the women's division. Like that's more than we've had for.
But how many of them do you care about?
Probably 3.
Okay. Like, I really want to see the Thunder Rosa thing turn into something with Nyla. Like I said, I haven't watched this week's episode yet. I don't know what's going to happen. I really want to see Thunder Rosa and Nyla do something.
It's going to be Nyla and Jade, based off last week's promo.
And Thunder Rosa.
Jade's like, I can't trust none of these bitches because they were supposed to work together. That'll happen. Thunder Rosa's big thing was I had such a close chance to be able to get back there. Now I'm gonna have to restart and rebuild myself back to become a number one contender again. That's her thing. That's her goal. And we've got 3 months before the new year, which is supposedly when they're doing some big thing for her. And
I want to see AEW open a show with the women's match.
Yeah, but
you can open with Ruby and Britt, and the crowd will be in right away.
I think that's the growing pains of AEW, in my opinion. I think it's one of those situations where they're trying to find a right spot for the women, and they know that their stuff is limited in a sense of the women that are actually fully capable of having a good match. Yeah. So they're trying to work with what they got, which isn't bad compared to where they were 2 years ago. I think they've made major progress in the sense of them actually having women that can go like in a full match without having to deal with any minor botching in a sense.
There's only so many Tom Brady's, and the rest are Dak Prescott's.
Future champions?
Very close, but they can't. The oil doesn't reach the wheel, you know.
No, I don't get it.
Let me make a better.
He's the best.
Let me make a better analogy.
Wait, one sec. I just wanted to throw in a Tom Brady reference because I know Angel's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
So
let me make a better reference. You could have so many Peyton Mannings, but you have a roster full of Eli Mannings.
Just barely okay enough. And somehow magically they're there in the Super Bowl.
No, but I think going back to last week, I thought that the 6 women tag team match in AEW was pretty good. Rio, Ruby, and
for as much as wrestling writers and journalists crap on Rio, like they're like, oh, why was Rio the first? Rio is super over with that AEW crowd.
She's great. I love Rio. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, I mean, that's how you built a lot of this mid-tier talent early on for AEW. Was a lot of triple or trios matches, tag matches. That's how a lot of these guys got built up early on, is by working against each other as tags, and that helped generate storylines on top of that. So I think doing that in the women's division is going to help. But what I'm scared of is, like, I already seen online, people are like, well, why don't they have a women's tag team championship? We see how bad that's working on WWE, and they've got a number of women that you would need to do something like that. You just don't have. You're going to run out of tag matches really quick with this.
What if you do a mid-card title for women?
But you don't even have enough people to deal with a top champion.
If you do like a women's TV title, so Impact has the. I can't believe I'm making an Impact reference here, but Impact has the X Division title that if you have it for a year, you can cash it in to go against the top guy. Yeah. So let's say you have a women's TV title. After you hold it for a year, you can fight the head honcho. But then you have to give up that title so then you can lead a tournament or whatever, you know?
There's not enough women that are able to control a division that I think you need a mid-tier title. You just need to get more women. You need to get them to learn how to do a storyline.
Who are your top 5 women right now in AEW?
That's the thing. I can't name 5 top ones.
I can give you 5 women that I would love to see on TV.
Women, but are we talking about like 5 like overall? We're talking about like 5 that are technical. Like
no, top 5
overall
that you would love to see on TV. Like Britt's going to be number 1 for everyone, right? Like everyone loves seeing Britt on TV.
Yeah, I like seeing Jamie Hayter too. Now that she's with her, I don't know how. I'm sure she's great, but like I'll listen to her.
So I like Kay and Anna Jay. I think they need
Kay and Anna.
I think Jade Cargill with the backstage stuff. Yeah, like I think you have a solid. Jade Cargill's still kind of green, but I think she's one of those that transcend out of wrestling too, right?
Well, you have a top 10 in general because you got Ruby, you have Britt, you have Layla, you have Rio, you have Sheeta, Nyla, Tay and Anna Jay, Chris Statlander, and then Red Velvet or Jay Cargill. So that's like you have the top 10 women in AEW there, and
Diamante,
it just basically
your favorite.
Diamante, Kiara Hogan, because I think she's probably going to stick with
Should
AEW for a
sign
long
team
term.
But yeah, you just don't want to run out of storylines too quick because that's people, right? But you can't. I don't know. There's not fodder in between the storylines. Like the AEW is so good about keeping the match from happening. If that makes sense, like you have best friends, you've got a Wheeler Yuta you can throw in there before anything touches Orange Cassidy, if that's what the feud's supposed to go into.
The Hardy family
same
office, same thing, yeah.
Yeah, you've got all these people that you can have matches that they're still involved, but they're not directly fighting each other up to a certain point. You don't have that with a women's division outside of Britt, who has Jamie Hayter, who you don't really want to beat, and Rebel,
yeah.
not Reba, whatever it is.
Isn't Jamie Hayter isn't Jamie Hayter 1-2 in the last 3 weeks?
Because of the tag match with Rebel, yeah.
And then the 6-woman match.
The 6-woman match. But she didn't lose. She didn't get pinned. It's like the whole MJF thing. His one loss before his whatever it was a tag match. He's like, that doesn't really count. I'm undefeated. I think it was him. It might have been someone else, but whatever it was. It's a way to protect them, you know. In tag matches, they're this, but in singles competitions, they're undefeated or whatever that looks.
So let me ask you a question: how do you feel about the new Universal Studio setting that they have for AEW Dark? Have they showed it yet?
Yeah, they just the latest episode had that. The Elevation, I think, had that. I didn't watch that episode yet, but from what I could tell, it looks okay. It's basically Impact Zone or something. That's what I read.
It brings back that Impact Zone feeling, but it also brings back that NXT Dusty feeling because of the banners that they have in the back. Mm-hmm. That's what NXT used to have in the back before they became mainstream. So I think that they're doing a good job. I think they're doing a good job at putting it there, and they're also giving the people a strong chance to continue to get reps in the ring, which is, I think that's something that was hurting AEW a lot, was not having the place or actually just trying to rush through the matches, and for Dark and Elevation to not give people, they're not getting their main people the reps that they need. Like SmackDown is, and WWE's back on the road, so you get to the superstars get to actually get reps on the road.
Did you hear how many? Last I had checked, apparently they filmed like 52 matches in one day at one point. That was like they still hadn't finished filming from when I read that.
It was a month's worth of dark
basically in one day.
Yeah,
that's a lot. It's a lot of filming. So
how do you, if you book that far ahead, how do you like account for injuries or storyline changes going forward? Then, right?
I doubt there's
you make changes
with top talent. I know FTR was there for a little bit, and then there's a couple of people. But
what's going on with the Sunny Kiss storyline with my boy?
That's what I'm saying. So Janela debuted. He brought someone with him. I forgot what her name was, but she's some super MMA chick or something. Elias, you can look it up, see who it is. But like, she's been training for like 2 months or something, and she lifted Sunny Kiss up and just power bombs him.
Oh damn!
It was crazy to see. But yeah, that's so. I guess they're about to fight at some point. Is Janela and Kiss, which is going to happen on Dark, I'm sure.
It should be a pay-per-view
Sunny's
match.
Not ready yet. I mean, Sunny Kiss. I mean,
Janela is probably the greatest in-ring worker within all the companies right now. Wouldn't you agree?
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. It sounds like this is probably his retirement match. I would hope.
Dude, he might retire, go to SmackDown, and beat the big dog. You know.
Good. You can go over there. That's where he belongs.
I don't think he'll fit in WWE.
No, he wouldn't fit in there.
See, okay, so as much as Angel craps on on Joey Janela. Let's say Angel came down for WrestleMania weekend in April, and Joey Janela had one of his Joey Janela spring break things. I think me and Angel would have a great time if we win.
Yeah,
just because I heard those shows are. Well, I heard those shows are banger. Like, Janela jumping off roofs and stuff.
That won't impress me. I don't like the guy. I don't care for his style. He's not good. Moise. He's not good.
I think he's a very talented person.
No.
All right, Angel. Do you have any thoughts you want to convey to us before we sign off? You coming down for the New Japan show?
When is it?
Bro, I've mentioned you like 87 times for this. It's September something, 25th weekend.
I can do the 26th.
It's at the Saturday show or the Sunday show?
That's a Sunday show.
I can only do the day one show.
No, yeah, I couldn't request off. I could request off the following week. I got to go meet my family for a week.
Aren't they in Dallas anyways?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go.
But you're not. But you're not
on the 27th. Yeah, on the 27th is where I'm going.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna catch up with AEW right now, and then we'll be back next week talk a little bit more about it. I think overall, Angel, before we sign off, what was your overall thoughts on the new NXT 2.0?
It's colorful.
Well, he didn't watch everything, so
the championship match should have been the final segment because it's your championship title. Oh wait,
it was the final segment. If we're going like that,
no, it wasn't.
Yes,
yes, it was. Yeah, you had your guy who's 1-0, who's apparently the next challenger already.
You know who that is, right?
That's Steiner's son.
Yeah, yep. He could be a stud.
Mm-hmm.
If they get him out at Mojo Rawley. I did not like his gear, Elias. He looks too Mojo Rawley to me.
No, that's a tribute to his dad. That's a Steiner apparel. That's Steiner apparel. Like if
pink?
You ever
I don't remember him ever wearing pink.
Go back to the WCW days when they first started. They were different colors. That whole just the sequence, the whole onesie that he wore with
I know the onesie. Like they would always wear black and white. Yeah, I never knew they wore pink.
Mm-hmm. They wore different colors.
Oh, okay. Well, then I am wrong on that. Yeah, I thought they were going for a Mojo Rawley vibe with him.
Mm-mm. That's a straight tribute to his dad.
Mojo Rawley, who will probably be debuting at the Arthur Ashe show in Queens, right? Angel?
What?
Mojo Rawley.
I just sent something to the group chat. This is what's been on my screen the whole time. Is Malachi Black looking at y'all like, what the hell are y'all talking about? So I just sent it to the group chat. You got to. I keep looking at it and just laughing, especially when we're talking about what we're talking about. What'd you ask me? Mojo Rawley at New York?
Yeah, he's gonna debut, right?
No. Why?
What's your level of excitement for the Arthur Ashe show? I guess that's a better question to ask.
Which one?
The Arthur
Ashe show.
There's two.
What?
There's two. I thought there was only one night.
They're doing Rampage.
No one. God damn it.
2-hour Rampage.
Dynamite.
Wait, are they going? Wait, pause. Are they going with SmackDown, or are they doing the 2 hours after?
After.
Oh,
they announced something on this show that y'all might be looking forward to.
Okay.
So, somebody in our group chat spoiled it.
Oh.
Wait, that's on Rampage or that's on the Arthur Ashe show?
What did they spoil?
Omega versus Danielson.
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even heard that part. Thanks for that. Now I got that spoiled. Fine. You know what? Just because y'all did that to me, the spoiler it's a trios match. Adam Cole and the Elite Super Click are fighting against Christian and the Jungle Express.
I knew that was going to happen
on Rampage. Because the Super Click is back, baby. Adam Cole.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Do you think that now that Adam Cole's in AEW and he's with the Elite, do you think that you're gonna see Adam Cole turn and actually break up the Elite?
He's gonna
talked
flip
about
the
this
Young
last
Bucks.
week. Yeah, we talked about this
He's
last
gonna
week.
flip he's 100% getting the Young Bucks to flip on it with him.
He's the baby you have to keep the marriage going, but you find out that the baby loves the mom or dad a little more, and then it makes it worse. Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait till y'all hear his reaction with this crowd. I don't know how long they can wait with the way he's getting reactions and all these things. If they're having this match at Arthur Ashe, they might out cheer Jungle Boy with Adam Cole.
No, I agree, because I mean, going back to Adam Cole, he did an interview today or this week where he kind of like put over NXT in a sense, saying that his 4 years in NXT helped him become the person that he is now, has a ring person, in ring general, and stuff like that. So I think that whatever Adam Cole's going to do in AEW, they're going to put a rocket on him, and he's just going to take off. And what I really want to see, and this is just fantasy booking, I really want to see Adam Cole turn on the Elite and bring the Bullet and realign himself with the Bullet Club, because that match has been teased already.
Is that,
bro? The Bullet Club's on Impact. You're watching the wrong show.
Isn't the Bullet Club heel faction? No,
Yeah,
like officially now.
And they're on Impact every week, Elias.
How are you gonna have him turn heel for a heel? That's not turning.
The Elite turns face.
You don't have Adam Cole, who's getting cheers louder than anyone, almost as loud as CM Punk, by the way, when you listen to it tonight. He can't turn heel for heel. And then you're not going to have to turn the other guy's face. Because you're going to be left with Omega and...
let me make another point. So, Elias, Mr. I watch everything every week.
This is supposed to be on Final Point,
Impact this week. Yeah, no. A stick poked me, so I'm gonna go break that stick in half now. So Elias is over here like, oh, Bullet Club, bruh. 3/4 of Bullet Club is on Impact right now. You can watch them every week, Elias.
They're not on.
You didn't watch this week, right? You didn't watch this week, right?
I watched last week's when Heiko Leo debuted with Chris Bay.
Yeah, so you have
you're still missing.
Okay, you have 3/8 of it.
You have
that's almost 50%.
No, you don't. You still have a four. That's like a fourth of Bullet Club.
Okay, Taji Ishimori worked Impact, so I count him too. Like
Ishimori, you're missing the God. You're missing God. You're missing Bad Luck Fale. You're missing Chase Owens. You're missing all these other guys.
Chase Owens isn't good enough to be on American TV. I've seen the guy live. Sorry, it sucks to say. I love the guy, but he's not good enough to be on American TV.
But you're missing the main heart and soul of Bullet Club, which is the God, Bad Luck Fale, and Bad Luck Fale. So I'm just saying, like as much as you shit on it, like
I'm not shitting on. I'm telling you, it's on Impact.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like
when Heiko Leo debuted, was I not like, dude, this guy looks like a freaking monster. I like this.
No, I'm saying, but like on the idea of the Bullet Club versus the Elite, it's gonna happen. It's just don't know when.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Japan opens up again. It's gonna take a long time.
Yeah,
if it happens.
Happens. And then you think Daniel Bryan's probably gonna join the Bullet Club too, right?
No, Daniel Bryan will not join the Bullet Club.
The American Dragon.
Buddy Murphy might.
I think he would be a great addition. I agree. They should, they just crap on everyone's fantasies and just have Braun Strowman become the leader, and then only focus on Braun. That would be great. That would be a way to kill it.
I would stop watching in Japan if that happens. I'm sorry.
Hey, you saw the way they booked Matt Bloom. You saw the way they booked what's that other big Archer? Like, I think they could book Braun Strowman in a way.
Yeah, but they have to put him with a veteran. Like they'll have to put him. Like the reason that Lance Archer was successful in New Japan was because of Suzuki with Suzuki Gun. So yeah, I know. I already know. Yeah.
Watch the episode. Get off. Let's go so we can finish watching this episode.
I'm gonna go start. I'm gonna go start AEW. So good night, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
bang, bang,
we
whatever
are-
Kenny Omega says. Bang, bang, boom, boom. Good night.
It actually is good night and bang. I think.
Yeah, that thing. Hey, when are we getting that Colt Cabana CM Punk match? Did they tease that yet?
When CM Punk turns heel.
You think they'll work a match together?
Yeah.
Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
They went to court over $2 million.
Yeah. And now they work together to make $2 million.
Man, it's such a long stream. I would make that bet with you on this so long stream. Like you'd have them like 8 years and you win, you know. So.
I'll put it like this: in wrestling, you can have a business relationship. Doesn't mean that you have to be friends. So you could have people that don't like each other for years, but still be able to work together, and eventually they get over whatever beef they had. It's the same thing with like everybody says, well, Vince is blocking these people, has like shitted on people for a while. But at the end of the day, he forgives them, and you see them back on WWE TV. Look at Bret Hart. Look at people. Look at Bret Hart. Look at freaking Eric Bischoff. Look at Paul Heyman. Like these are people that try to compete against Vince and shit on Vince, and at the end of the day, he still forgave and came back. It's the same thing that could happen with CM Punk and Colt Cabana. They could make it water under the bridge, and just they don't have to be friends, but they could have a good business relationship. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'm excited to see Mojo Rawley debut in a couple of weeks on AEW because everyone's expecting Bray. I think Mojo would be a perfect twist. No, actually, Elias, I was going to tell you this. I think Mojo debuts to help out Ryder against Rohit and Shera. I think Mojo will pop up to help him.
Hype Bros reunion? I could see that happening. Before I forget, Ring of Honor had Death Before Dishonor this weekend, and one of the top matches was Texas' own Roxy versus Miranda. They did a solid 16-minute match. It was really good. And congratulations to Roxy, by the way.
Hey, Elias, let me ask you a question. Hands up in the air, so I know you're not Googling anything. Hands up in the air. I'm going to ask you a quick question since you like ROH so much. Name the 3 members of Shane Taylor Promotions.
Fuck, I forgot their names. It's the guy with the dreads, the big guy.
I want the names. If you watch this program,
I don't know their names.
Okay.
I don't remember their names.
I know 2/3 of them. Shane Taylor and Cone. So boom. I watched ROH too. Ta-da! Good night. It
still doesn't say anything.
Name the
3 members of La Facción Ingobernable.
Can we please watch AEW and watch something good right now, please?
Roos, before he got hurt, was in it. Bandito.
No.
Laredo Kid. Look, at least I gave names. You just described them stereotypically. Yo, Angel.
No.
Angel. Google. What's Carmelo's bodyguard's name? Trick Williams. I think you're gonna.
Malachi Black is in the ring right now.
Okay, good night. I don't want to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially out. We'll be back next week, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to try to come back next Tuesday with a recap of this week's show.
We're coming back next Wednesday because Angel's going to watch NXT 2.0 and give y'all a full review, 30 minutes, no breaks.
If we can review AEW tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Thursday, bro. You have an in-division game tomorrow on TV.
Who?
Thursday night football.
The Giants and the Redskins.
Who cares? They're projected to score like 30 points combined. I'm not going to watch that game.
And guess what? They both have to say whoever wins will have a better record than your team. So you might want to watch it.
I could see them tying. That's how bad they both are. So
and they'll still have a better record than your team.
Because they have played an extra game.
I will say this. The Texans are number 1 in the AFC South.
Angel, I'm actually a Chargers fan.
Played the Jaguars.
Angel, you want to make a friendly wager on the Cowboys?
How are you a Chargers fan?
Phillip Rivers and LT are 2 of my favorite players ever.
You were like 2 when they were around.
Not me, dude. I'm 30.
Me too. LT's old. He retired when we started watching.
Okay. If you want to make a friendly wager on it, shoot me a DM. Good night. Goodbye. Bang, bang.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with another episode of Weekly Wrestling Heat. Yeah, I know, right? We'll come back next week. We'll talk about AEW. We'll talk about this week's past AEW, hype up the Arthur Ashe show. We'll also talk about NXT, this past week's episode of this next week's episode of NXT. Well, we won't talk about it because it's going to be on Tuesday, but we'll talk about everything that happened on SmackDown and everything that's happened on AEW this past week because I think it's pretty interesting. So, all right, from me and everybody here at Weekly Wrestling Heat, we're officially out. Peace. I got to end this. Yeah.